Yeah, it's not often that we get a chance to sort of think back like that to the very beginnings. And I think if we're going to think back to when this all really started, I think we should think back 2,000 years to when somebody first observed that these amazing waters actually cure people. So there's over 1,000 baths in what is effectively a very small country. And it is one of the most idiosyncratic features of life there, because everybody goes to the bath all the time.
Young, old, yeah.
And they go to heal. So the doctors will prescribe the baths for absolutely everything, including, of course, all skin problems that you could possibly have, but anything else, arthritis. I suppose before then, 200 years ago, my family built one of the bigger baths in Budapest. Then I suppose I first visited in the very late 80s, because although I am Hungarian, obviously I grew up in Switzerland and Africa. But there's all these wonderful stories I was hearing when I was a kid from my Hungarian grandparents about life before the war and the amazing things people got up to. And I just had a sneaking suspicion that some of that wasn't strictly true. So somebody had to bring me there to show me.
Had to see for yourself, yeah.
And so we got there just before the handover, and it was a magical time. Of course, the next big date on our journey was Margaret's arrival to Hungary.
So I arrived from America, and not knowing anything about Hungary, certainly not Budapest, and was working for the American government and working also in healthcare specifically. And when I was introduced to you, I think it was really important I remember you sharing that you wanted to illuminate through your eyes what the local treasures were, and the waters were at the top of your list. And I had never been to the thermal baths. For an outsider, when you took me, it was a treat because it was so other.
So I suppose that brings us to the next big date, really, in our journey, which is when we met this amazing dermatologist called Dr. Kemeny, who's still alongside, and who runs a very famous local laboratory of dermatology, which is famous because it is responsible for the discovery of vitamin C back in the 20th century, and it received a Nobel Prize for that. And so when we met him, he was able to explain to us why you've had reacted to the water the way you had, and what the effects of the water might be on the skin, and also explained the various applications of all the waters that you find in Hungary. But specifically, he did say, and that's what triggered Omorovicza really, that if you were able to harness the properties of certain baths, or the waters in certain baths, in skincare, you might have something really, really rejuvenating and anti-aging. And then in 2006, we launched our little store in Budapest, which is still there. And
just a few days before our first child.
That is true.
Yeah.
And then just a few days before our third child, we launched at Space & Cape. So that was back in 2014, which was very exciting. Space & Cape being such an iconic retailer in the UK, that was a big moment.